Supposedly there's a PS4 Slim in here. Oh boy. I hope all the pieces are here.
This video is sponsored by iFixit. More on them in a minute.
The seller said this PS4 was struck by lightning. They tried to fix it, but then made it worse. I'm not sure what that means, but I think we're about to find out. No signs of a motherboard yet. That's gonna be a problem. This is the bottom plate of the disk drive with a screw stuck to the magnet. Oh, do I glimpse a motherboard? I think so. All right, the heatsink is not in too bad a condition. That's good. Oh man, what did I get myself into? The main thing though is whether these metal pieces rubbed against this board and knocked a bunch of stuff off or not. I don't see anything so far. I have hope for this one. So far, so good. Okay, anything else in here? Oh, we got a screw right here. Another one over here. Yep, another 3 more. Well, 4 more. Oh, another one right here. I think that's everything in there. So the first thing I want to figure out is the seller said that he tried to replace a fuse and only made it worse. So I want to check all the fuses on this thing and see if we can find the one he's talking about. I don't know, on the Slims, I'm not even sure if there's fuses on the bottom side. There are several on the top side though. We've got one over here, and those ones look fine. We've got a fuse over there. That one looks, here we go, right here. So we can see we've got a fuse there and a fuse there. Let's get this thing under a microscope and see what's going on. So this is what the fuse should look like. This is the place where the seller, it looks like he jumped the fuse from here to here to create a connection from this pad to this pad. Obviously this is just a blob of solder, it is not a fuse, but let's see if his jumper worked. So if it did, then there should be a path from here, through here, over to here. So I'm gonna put one probe here and one probe here, and there is continuity from here to here. So this jumper actually did work, but what I'm gonna do is actually take this off and then replace this with an actual fuse because we want this thing to work correctly once we get it all together. So I'm just gonna use my hot air soldering station to remove that solder, and then I'm just going to remove a fuse from a donor board and put the fuse onto this board. All right, and with that new one soldered on, let's make sure we have continuity from this via over to here, and we do. So we know that fuse is good and that fuse is good. Now the question is, why did this fuse blow? And the answer to that might be in this frame right here.
No matter whether you're brand new to repairs or you're a repair professional, iFixit is one of the best places to get parts, tools, and repair information. iFixit has some of the best precision tools out there, and their warranty is just as good. My favorite iFixit toolkit is their Manta Precision bit set. It's got pretty much any bit to get you into almost any device, and they have the smaller driver and then the larger driver as well. I use this to get into some of the bigger consoles and some of the more retro consoles that have bigger and tighter screws. Not only do they make great toolkits, they also have a bunch of specialty tools like the anti-clamp. This tool makes it super easy to remove phone screens. iFixit is always looking for ways to make repair easier. In addition to all the specialty tools and toolkits, iFixit also offers parts. One of my favorite things about their parts selection is their warranty. If you get a part that doesn't work, you just contact them and they'll make it right. Because of this, iFixit is one of the first places I go when I'm looking for good quality parts. If you want to check them out, go to ifixit.com. I'll leave a link right in the description. That'll take you right there. And the answer to that might be in this frame right here. So this part of the board right here is what runs the disk drive. And one of the things that happens is this motor right here goes bad, and when that motor goes bad, it kind of like seizes up or takes too much power and it causes that fuse to blow. So what I usually do is I just replace this whole assembly. There's the motor that's soldered onto this board, and in this case I do have a new one or a working one. So we're gonna replace this one with this one. I think I'll also replace this ribbon cable. This one is pretty torn up, so I am gonna do that as well. Now, in order to get to that, we need to remove all of these screws and pull this top piece off, and then there's 2 screws down there we need to remove. Another hint
as to what could be going on here is this right here. If you notice these little tabs are bent down, that's because under here is the disk drive manual eject mechanism. So at some point, somebody had to put like a screwdriver or something down here to turn this in order to get a disk out. So that tells me that this disk drive is likely dead. What I need to do now though is remove this, because once this thing starts up, that little mechanism down there is going to spin, and it's going to hit these little tabs that are bent down and make a terrible rattling noise. So I'm just going to remove that, and that will fix that problem. Now we just have to remove these screws, and then we can get down to the 2 screws to release that motor. One other thing we need to do as well is mark this cable right here. So if you don't mark it, then when you go to put it back together, you're not going to know exactly where it's supposed to go. So, or how far out it's supposed to go. So I just take a Sharpie, mark a line right there. And we can pull this up, pull the sticker off of the ribbon cable. And this will never go back together quite the same as far as the sticker and ribbon cable, but it'll be good enough. Okay, now we can move this out of the way and get to this guy. So there's this band right here, and there's 2 screws. 1 screw, 2 screws, and then the band we just need to remove from the pulley. Just like that. And that just falls out, and we can install the new one. There we go. Now I'm going to put these screws in, and then we'll put the band on. So we need to make sure this band is down around this pulley. And it looks like it is. And we need to not twist it. So I'm going to use my tweezers to just pull it around there. And it was twisted, but it untwisted itself. So we're good there. Now we can get this back on, just like that. I'm gonna get a couple screws in here, and then we'll get that ribbon cable set. All right, so now since we marked that, we know that the ribbon cable needs to go on the edge of this sticker, right about there. A little bit more, tiny bit more. There we go. So that is exactly where it needs to be. Now I'll get the rest of the screws in, and we'll flip it over and make sure everything's aligned correctly. Now that I think we have the disk drive fixed and the board fixed, now we can hopefully start getting this whole PS4 back together. I do want to clean these rollers since we've already got this apart. Might as well just give them a good clean. I just use a cotton swab and some isopropyl alcohol and just press pretty hard while I'm going back and forth on them. They are discolored, but it's actually not very dirty at all. Same thing on this one. Okay, so one end goes in here. It's got kind of like a triangle on it, and we'll snap it in. There we go. Now for this side, we've got to put the connecting rod in here and then down inside this one, like that. And then this side goes in. There's a little slot, a little hole over here it goes into. And once you have that in there like that, then just put your finger under here, press it in, and there we go. While we're here, let's just clean this laser. Just use a tiny bit of IPA. Go around it. I'm going to give the inside of this disk drive just a quick clean. It's really not too dirty, but just want to catch anything loose in here, especially that can gum up anything in the disk drive or the laser. So now somewhere in this stack of parts, we have the bottom plate for this thing. There it is. Need to make sure it's working though, and not bent. Okay, it actually looks pretty good. Don't see any bending going on there. So let's put it on here and see how it looks. Oh yeah, that looks great. Now there should be 2 screws like this. We've got one. Gotta find the other one though. I think it might be in this bag of parts. Oh man, so many parts in here. Here it is. Wait, no, that's not it. Okay, well, that's the first screw that we're missing. Luckily, I do have 2 screws from the PS4 Slim that I'm pulling all these parts off of, so we're saved there. Okay, so we should be good to go on the disk drive. This ribbon cable is pretty bent up, but I don't actually see anything that looks like it will be a problem, except for there's a bunch of thermal paste on it. That'll be a problem. Let's clean that all off. Thermal paste is gonna get on all these little connectors right here. So we wanna make sure that is nice and clean. All right, so this is the frame we have to start with. Let's get this fan cleaned up a little bit. No reason to have a dusty, dirty fan if we're starting this thing over, kinda. Okay, so now we can get the disk drive set right there. And we're just gonna look at the arrows to figure out where they go. One there. This one doesn't have an arrow. Oh, that's a little weird. Okay, I think that's all for now. One goes there, but I don't think it goes there yet. We got the 2 screws for the fan. Now I think the bottom metal plate goes on. So, oh, of course it's bent. That's better. Oh, got a major bend over here too. Okay, we're gonna use the metal plate from the donor board. This one we could bend back, but all those little bends are gonna be hard to fix. So we're gonna use it from the donor. We know this one's good, so, and not bent up anywhere, which is always nice. There we go. Now we got to get the screws in to hold the metal plate down. Now this is easy to forget. We've got to put on this antenna right here. And then we need to put the power button in. All right. And now I think we know the real problem with this is that it didn't have the perfect amount of thermal paste, which we'll fix right now. There we go. Now it's for sure gonna work. Now we just need to install the clamp, and then we can put the top plate on. Okay, we've almost got everything together now. We need to put in the hard drive next. We're getting close though. Whoa, we got a screw stuck in there. I don't think we're gonna need that. Oh, another one. Hey, that's the other one from the disk drive. That is all of them in there. So we should be good. There we go. Okay, now we just need to put in the top and bottom shell, and then we can test it out. Assuming these are in, yeah, they're in okay condition. Not amazing, but they'll be fine. And now the top case, slide on from the bottom toward the front, and then push down. Okay, we've got it plugged into power and the HDMI cable plugged in. Let's see if the disk drive has power. Okay, good news so far, and power. Blue, good. Okay, we got white light there, still no signal on the TV. Let's reset my switch. Oh, here we go. There we go. So we got a picture on the screen, but we need to know if this thing takes a disk, because I think that's probably what originally was wrong with it. We've got Trials Fusion. Let's try it out and see if it's gonna take it. Oh, good news so far. I hear it spinning up. Okay, let's get a controller connected and see if we get it on the screen. And Trials Fusion is right there. The seller said they made this PS4 Slim worse, but it actually wasn't bad, and their way of bridging that fuse actually works great to test things. It's not a great permanent fix, but they did just fine, and I would say they didn't make anything worse. Either way, we fixed another PlayStation, so it can go on to live a nice, happy life. If you like this type of video and you want to see a video I made where somebody tried to repair their own Xbox Series X and totally failed, I'll put a link for that video up on your screen now, so you can come hang out with me over there and see if I can fix it. Thanks again to iFixit for sponsoring this video. Go to ifixit.com/TronicsFix. There's also a link right in the description that'll take you right there. Thanks so much for watching today, and I hope you have a good one.